with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari at Bari Orthopedics.
He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Thursday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, Before Dark today here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Little change in the schedule. Rick Ballou joined Hayes Carline earlier this afternoon. I'm in Rick's spot, and we're here with you till 8 o'clock this evening. We are glad you are with us. Just over 24 hours from now, the Jaguars will take on the Atlanta Falcons. Of course, a game you will hear right here on 1010XL Radio, the finale for the Jaguars in the preseason. The starters expected to play quarter and a half, maybe an entire first half tomorrow night. At least the Jacksonville starters, from what we've been told. A lot of Atlanta first and second teamers will not play. This is going to be the third and fourth team Atlanta Falcons, which kind of puts the Jaguars in an interesting spot. If you go out there and struggle early tomorrow night, your starters against the Falcons' third and fourth teamers, well, that's a big story. But if you go out there and you go up 14-0, well, you're supposed to, right? Because it's your starters against another team's third and fourth string. So I don't necessarily like that scenario, but that appears to be the reality. Jaguar starters are going to play. Atlanta starters are not going to play. Regardless of what happens tomorrow night in Atlanta, Jacksonville, along with every other NFL team, has to go from 90 down to 53 by next Tuesday, August the 27th. And because the Jaguars are playing tomorrow night, I would expect Saturday, perhaps Sunday, and almost assuredly by Monday, we are going to see some cuts begin to roll in. And because of that, because this is the final Hacker After Dark until Monday night, because, of course, the Jaguars play tomorrow, I want to go over a 53-man roster. I've been down to 20 practices this camp. I got a 53-man roster that I feel pretty good about. So we're going to go over that in one moment. Guest lineup looks like this. Former Jaguar, Pro Bowl offensive tackle, my buddy Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on XL Primetime. Beginning 2 weeks from Sunday, you will hear he, along with the head coach Dave Campo and myself on the fifth quarter. Again this year, 2 hours after every Jaguar game goes final, Leon will come on to break down the preseason, break down Jaguar training camp, and look ahead to the roster cuts. Also, Florida State is on the field in 40 hours from now? Saturday at high noon. It is right around the corner for Florida State to start the college football season against Georgia Tech over in Dublin, Ireland. Logan Robinson of Knoll Game Day is one of my Florida State guys. We will talk Mike Norvell. We will talk DJU and the 2024 Florida State football team. That conversation comes up in just a bit. Also a little high school talk tonight. More Jaguar talk in the 7 o'clock hour. So as you can tell, we are absolutely loaded. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal? What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
My last show before what I would imagine is quite a few of these cuts come in. They're not required until Tuesday afternoon, but because the Jaguars play tomorrow night, I would anticipate Saturday, Sunday, definitely Monday, we will see some cuts begin to trickle on down the line. So because of that, I wanted to give you my 53-man roster thoughts when it comes to the Jaguars. Final preseason game tomorrow, after a month of training camp, after OTAs, after minicamp. This is the way I feel it's going to go. Now, I will tell you, spots 1 through 45, I did without very little thinking about it. It was very easy to get to 45. The last 8 or 9 spots, yeah, there was some decision-making I had to do. We'll begin on offense at quarterback. Not breaking any news here. Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones. Those, to me, are going to be your two quarterbacks. C.J. Beathard will be the emergency guy. I believe he will be on the active roster at parts of this year. I don't know if he will make the initial 53-man roster on Tuesday. Running backs, again, very obvious. Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, D'Ernest Johnson. Now, will they keep a fourth running back? Keep in mind, there are two spots available where injured guys can make the 53, not count against the 53, and be put on the short-term IR. I think rookie Keelan Robinson might fit that bill. There is some talk about undrafted free agent Jalen Jackson, and I thought about him, but I think ultimately spending a fifth-round pick on Keelan Robinson is going to win out there. I think Robinson will eventually be the fourth running back on this roster, but he might start the year on the short-term IR. Wide receiver, 5 of these spots were incredibly easy. Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas, Parker Washington, Devin Duvernay. Easy as pie, those 5. The 6th spot, man, that was a battle. To me, it comes down Elijah Cooks versus Tim Jones. Both of these guys made the team last year. I do not believe both of them will make the team this year. All right? And I went back and forth on this. Tim Jones, probably a better special teams player. Elijah Cooks, probably a better all-around wide receiver. Because I think they're going to keep an extra linebacker, an extra safety, extra defensive end, pass rush types. I'm going to side with Elijah Cooks as my 6th wide receiver. It would not surprise me if it's Tim Jones. What would surprise me is if they keep 7 again like last year. I do not believe they're going to do that. I believe it's an either or. It's either Tim Jones or Elijah Cooks. I'm going to go Cooks, probably 60% confidence on that, but I could also very easily see being Tim Jones. Denmark, you got an opinion there? Elijah Cooks versus Tim Jones for that 6th wide receiver spot?
No, you're kind of the same opinion as everybody else. I think they'll keep Tim Jones just because of the special teams. That's what Log said Tuesday, so I'll roll with him.
I could very easily see it. It's going to be one or the other. Tight ends, Evan Ingram, Luke Farrell, Brenton Strange. I think they only keep 3 tight ends. Offensive line, you got the 5 starters, Robinson, Cleveland, Morse, Sheriff, and Harrison. I got Walker Little. I got Luke Fortner, I got Cooper Hodges, and I have Javon Foster because he was a 4th-round pick. And I cannot imagine a world where a 4th-round pick does not make your 53-man roster. So I'm going to go with Javon Foster. That means Blake Hance might be in trouble. That means Cole Van Lanen might be in trouble. I could see them keeping one of them, probably Van Lanen, but I think he is clearly on the roster bubble. Quickly to defense. Not a lot of breaking news here. Hines Allen, Walker, Hamilton, Armstead are locks. Trevis Gibson and Tyler Lacey, to me, are locks, along with Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson. That's 8. How many do you keep? I have DJ Coleman making the team, and just barely, primarily because of his contract and the fact that the dead money would be huge. You don't save anything by cutting him. I got Roy Robertson Harris making the team, although I've talked to enough people that think he might be in some trouble. But again, after the starters, my backups on the D-line, Gibson, Lacey, Smith, Jefferson, Robertson Harris, and DJ Coleman. Linebacker, Aluakin, Lloyd, Muma, Ventrell, Miller are the 4 locks. I'm pretty sure Caleb Johnson, because of special teams, is a lock. And I got Yasir Abdullah as the 6th linebacker over Andrew Parker. I think Andrew Parker will be on the practice squad. Cornerback, Tyson Campbell, Ronald Darby, Jarian Jones, and Christian Braswell are locks to me. I do have DeAndre Prince making it. And maybe the 53rd guy is Buster Brown. I got Monteric Brown being the 6th corner in this scenario. So I have both Prince and Brown making the roster. At safety, Dewey Wingard's going to be the other guy that goes on the short-term IR. He will be here, but he will not start on the active roster. Because of that, Cisco, Savage, Antonio Johnson, Daniel Thomas, and then I have Terrell Edmunds making it basically in Dewey's spot. When Dewey comes back, Edmunds might be in some trouble. But for the here and now, because Dewey's going to start on short-term IR, I have Terrell Edmunds as the fifth safety. And then obviously Cam Little, Logan Cook, and Ross Matisic are your three specialists. I guess of the notable cuts that I have, in my scenario, Tim Jones would be cut. In my scenario, Cole Van Lanen and Blake Hance would be cut. In my scenario, Breeland Speaks and Big E, number 90, who's made a couple of nice plays on the D-line, would be cut. Denmark, aside from that, I don't think I have anything necessarily earth-shattering, but it was difficult. Once you knock out those first 45, the first 45 were easy. Figuring out DJ Coleman's of the world, Monteric Brown's of the world, Terrell Edmunds of the world, the Tim Jones, Elijah Cook situation, the Keelan Robinson, Jalen Jackson situation. There were some interesting decisions at the tail end of this roster.
Yeah, the only one that kind of stuck out to me, and I mean, you said he's on the very edge, is going to be that Yasir Abdullah. Do they keep him as the 53 guy, or do they go with somebody else and, go with the special teams? Everything else I pretty much agree with.
My thing with Abdullah, it may be political in that he was a fifth-round pick. And if it's as simple as, is it Yasir Abdullah versus Andrew Parker? And I'm an Andrew Parker fan. We had him on Hacker After Dark last night. Undrafted free agent, might be easier to hide on the practice squad. Whereas Abdullah got a sack this preseason, a former fifth-round pick. I just think Abdullah would win out in that scenario. We'll put my list to the test next week. See how many of the 53 I got. I feel pretty confident, like I said, about at least 47, 48 of them. The last 5, 6 spots, I think, could be some fluctuation there. But we're going to find out very quickly as, again, the Jaguars have to get down to 53 at the latest by next Tuesday afternoon. Let's continue the Jaguar conversation. Let's talk about Atlanta tomorrow night. Let's talk about the cuts that are coming. And let's talk about the training camp that was with a guy that knows a little something about NFL training camps. My buddy Leon Searcy. You get him every week here on Hacker After Dark during the season. You hear him every day on XL Primetime. And soon, you'll hear him as my co-host, along with the head coach Dave Campo, on the fifth quarter. Jaguar Talk, Leon Searcy next, Thursday night, Jacksonville, Florida. Glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
I'm Logan Cook from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So Logan Cook will kick it away, and they're going to throw it to Walker. And it's going to be a first down.
On 1010XL.
Jennifer, Luxury has a new address in Jacksonville.
Oh, do tell, John.
Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard. We've got over 40 Cadillac Lyrics in stock.
40? That's incredible. Any color you want?
You bet. Pick your color and drive away today. Plus, we're giving away a free home charger with every Lyric.
Fantastic. Anything else?
How about a car you'll never have to change the oil on?
No oil changes ever? Now that's luxury.
Randy Marion Cadillac, where Jacksonville meets luxury.
Visit us today on Southside Boulevard and tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Right now, they're on their way to ruin your day. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. And if you're not prepared, you will suffer. Yes, it's that time of the year. Heat and humidity are attacking North Florida. But help is at hand. Call Mike Merritt's Heating and Air Conditioning. Mike Merritt has a license to chill and lets you maintain your comfort zone at a bargain price. How? Mike Merritt stands ready to help, routine or emergencies. And Mike Merritt knows emergencies can happen at any time. So with Mike, there's never any overtime charges. And Mike's team works without commissions. Merritt will never try to sell you parts you don't need. You can't trust just anyone with a truck. Call Mike Merritt, the company North Florida has trusted for 35 years. Call today. License number CAC 050384.
Chelsea here with Renewal by Anderson. Summer's winding down, and so are our prices at Renewal by Anderson's end of summer window and door sale. Upgrade your home with custom Fibrex windows and doors. Whether you need custom energy efficient, hurricane resistant windows or a stylish new patio door, we've got you covered. A better way to a better window. Visit us at bestwindowsflorida.com for details. Transform your home before fall with the end of summer sale. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CGC 1527613.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality product and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser start the week by giving the ball to the best back in Duval.
And off, Fred Taylor.
Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins DUI defense firm on 1010XL.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists returns with their free bumps and bruises evaluation clinics. Now with 4 locations, these free injury assessments are open to all schools and athletic programs. Saturday mornings from 9 to 10 through October 26th at Cortex Sports Performance in Ponte Vedra, Preferred PT in Fleming Island, and also at Brooks Rehab on Centurion Parkway and Brooks Rehab at World Golf Village.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Lauren here to tell you about Mayport CNC Fisheries preseason football special. $5 off any 100-count bag or 30-pound box of oysters, all preseason long. Bring football season back like a local with Mayport CNC Fisheries in Atlantic Beach.
Daytona always brings the drama.
Everything's on the line. The risk will be higher.
3 wide.
Look how insane this is.
Gunning to keep playoff hopes alive. It's now or never.
It's the most stressful night of racing that you'll ever go through.
For an unforgettable weekend of family fun, high-wattage star power, and a front row seat full of fireworks. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 23rd and 24th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Mia here. Are you ready for the ultimate college football season? Using MyBookie Sportsbook and Casino platform, you can bet on every game and win anytime, anywhere, straight from your mobile device. No app needed. Just head on over to mybookie.ag, sign up, and you're ready to rock. When you bet with MyBookie, you're not just watching the games, folks. You're investing in every moment of the action. I'll say it from experience. A few bucks on the line can turn any regular game into one of the most exciting of the season. Literally, every catch, every sack, and every touchdown is another way to hit pay dirt using MyBookie. Don't forget to use promo code 1010XL when you sign up in order to claim up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of new vehicles. Camrys starting at $329 a month. RAV4s for $349 a month. Tundras as low as $499 a month. And they all come with a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected for the next 20 years. Plus, every purchase will help fund a teacher's project in our schools. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota St. Augustine. Deadline August 31st. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Falcons tomorrow night up in the city of Atlanta to close out the Jaguars preseason. Of course, after tomorrow night, the Jaguars roster has to get from 90 down to 53, and they have until Tuesday, August the 27th, to accomplish that. Let's look back on training camp. Let's look back on the preseason that was with my buddy Leon Searcy. Of course, you hear him every day on XL Primetime, and very soon, in fact, 2 weeks from Sunday, you will hear Leon, the head coach Dave Campo, and yours truly again together for another season of the fifth quarter. Leon, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, bro.
Leon, we always appreciate the time. Now, I know I've seen you down there at practice a lot over the last month, but you and I haven't spoken on air, I don't believe, since training camp began. Just a mile-high view, Leon. Things you've seen, your thoughts, your perspective. What did you make of training camp here in 2024 for the Jaguars?
Well, I mean, we're by fast. I mean, those 3 weeks just blew by us. But I was very impressed with what I saw in training camp for the most part because it seemed to be a little bit more intense, seemed to be a little bit more focused on the physicality. And I'm talking about the interior play right now. As far as the offensive defensive line, there was a lot of drills, and there was a lot of the things in which the Jaguars struggled with last year. There was a point of emphasis on this team being a lot more physical up front, concentrating more on the short yardage goal line, concentrating more on the red zone aspect and stuff that they struggle with. So, I mean, there was a point of emphasis on by the coaching staff to implement some of the things in practice that this team may have struggled with last year. So I was very impressed with that. The competition was intense on both sides of the ball. Some standout guys. I mean, I think Tank Bisbee had a great camp. I think Parker Washington had an outstanding camp. Even the first round Brian Thomas had some outstanding plays down the stretch. I think Trevor Lawrence kind of rebounded. I think the first couple of days within practice, he struggled a little bit in the red zone, the interceptions. But then he came on towards the end where he started completing at a very high rate and scoring touchdowns. Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen, they were phenoms. When I saw them in practice, they were doing what they were supposed to do. They were supposed to be beating the outside players. I mean, the outside tackles on most occasions. So I expect a big year from there. I thought Muma had a good camp. He seemed to be in stride. It was just a plethora of guys I thought in camp that were very impressive. And they're going to help this team win a lot of games come this season.
Former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Leon Searcy, here with us on Hacker After Dark. Leon, there seems to be some concern among media and fans alike about the offensive line. You are obviously one of the guys in this city to ask. Are you concerned about the offensive line right now?
I'm concerned with the interior depth of the offensive line right now. I think that we're set at tackle. I think Cam Robinson is going to be solid if he can stay healthy. I think Anton Harrison is going to be a beast. I mean, he's coming into his own. He's starting to feel himself a little bit. I mean, when I say feel himself, I mean, coming off his rookie year, you tread on water. But I think some of the things that he's been doing in camp and in the preseason, he's just like, look, I want to be the best. I'm going to start acting and being the best. And that's what I look and see from him. And then you got Walker Little. I mean, you got a nice little rotation at the tackle position that I'm not worried about. Interiorly, there's where my concerns. Mitch Morse, bringing him in for Buffalo. Hopefully he'll be an upgrade from Fortner from last year, who was a liability. And then Ezra, and then you got Sheriff. But, those guys got to stay healthy. And then they got to be a lot more consistent in their play, especially, during what I've seen in camp in the preseason. But listen, if any of those three go down, I mean, the cupboard is bare. Who are you going to rely on to come in that you can plug and play and turn your back and say that he can get the job done? That's where the concern is. I mean, you've got guys within the interior three of the offensive line who, and quite frankly, really don't have that much experience. So, I mean, you've got to ride the coattails of these three guys, and hopefully they can be productive, because outside of that, that's all we have.
Yeah, I'm trying to put a glass half full spin on it. We haven't seen the 5 starters in a game yet this preseason. We'll see that tomorrow night. But again, tomorrow night's interesting, Leon. The word out of Atlanta is they're not going to play anybody. They're going to play third and fourth teamers, guys trying to make the roster and guys that know they're not going to make the roster. So if you're the Jaguar offense, it's kind of a darned if you do, darned if you don't, right? If you score a couple of times, well, of course you do, because you're playing third and fourth teamers. If you don't score tomorrow night, it's a gigantic story because you're playing third and fourth teamers. So it's kind of a bad situation for the Jaguars.
Yeah, it is. I mean, listen, if the first offense goes 3 and out twice, I mean, you can imagine the firestorm here in Jacksonville if that happens. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen tomorrow night. I hope that they take advantage of the opportunity that they have going up against guys who probably more prevalently won't be there come Tuesday when it comes down to the cuts. So, Yeah, but I mean, listen, I understand what Doug Peterson is doing. I mean, after this game hack, you got 2 more weeks, and you literally want to keep your guys involved in the football and don't give them a paid vacation. So I mean, but here's what I would do. I mean, a half is a long time to be playing in the preseason. A lot of things can happen. A lot of variables can happen during the preseason. And I don't want to say anything about anybody get hurt, but you risk the opportunity of somebody major going down if you give them a half. So if I was Doug Peterson, depending on how successful the drives are, I would give them 1-2 drives and call it a day, to be quite honest with you. But he says they're going to play a half, so that's going to be very. He's saying that both sides are going to play a half. So I mean, you're putting your 22 starters at risk by playing them that long in that game, and you got to remember you're going up against guys, quite frankly, that don't have nothing to lose. You're going against 34 stringers who won't have nothing to lose. So. I would just be cautious. That's all I got to say.
A couple more for Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You hear him every day on XL Primetime. Leon, you were certainly a team leader in Pittsburgh. You were certainly a team leader here in Jacksonville. It takes a certain mindset to be a team leader. You had that. I got to tell you, man, Evan Ingram, I might be as impressed or even more impressed with Evan Ingram this training camp than the previous 2 that he was here, and I didn't think that was possible. The guy's the first one on the field every day. He's one of the last ones off every day. You hear the way his teammates talk about him. You hear the way his coaches talk about him. You and Calais Campbell, to me, are the 2 best free agents that have ever been signed by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Very soon, I think Evan Ingram's going to join you guys on that pedestal. He has been sensational, and I think this training camp might have been his best one.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I mean, you got to remember that. This is your craft. I mean, it's like sharpening your sword, bro. I mean, you don't want your sword to get dull, or it can't be utilized in battle. And that's what he's doing. He's sharpening his sword. The first one out there, the last one to leave. The thing that's discouraging about the fact that Evan Ingram's doing all this is that why his teammates don't follow suit. I mean, there should be more guys out there with him working on the little things. It's not the big things, hackers, that separate the good from the great. It's the little things, the attentions, the details, the staying, watching the extra film, getting that extra rep, getting that extra sleep, all that, getting that extra sleep, all that stuff. I tell people all the time, how you do the little things is how you do everything. I can tell you how successful you'll be by what you do every day, your daily routines, and he gets it, he understands it, and he's willing to sacrifice. What I would do if I saw him doing that kind of stuff, just because I'm the type of person that if I saw him after practice doing, I would come out there and work on my sets. Give me some extra reps in, because that's the only way. Listen, if everybody follows, that's the only way this team is going to get better. Only way this team is going to get better is that they got to do the little things, pay attention to the attentions, the details. And I can appreciate a guy like Evan Ingram because he understands that he gets it. He wants to win, and he wants to win now.
Leon, cut-down day is coming. You obviously never really experienced that. You were always an established starter, but you know what the locker room is like. You know what the vibe is like. Probably a lot of nervous folks going into Atlanta tomorrow. I mean, cut-down day on Tuesday. You would think cuts will start trickling in this weekend. Certainly by Monday, a lot of guys will know their fate. What is it like for an NFL locker room, an NFL organization right now, knowing one more preseason game and then we're 4 days away from the roster being cut almost in half?
Well, I mean, well, I can tell you this: it's not a celebration. Let me just say that much, because you've built relationships with guys now. You've gotten to know their families, gotten to know their wives, their kids. Maybe they came to the locker room or you've had dinner with them, and then essentially they're going to move on. And I always tell guys who that are in that situation where they get cut, is, bro, just get good film. I always tell them, hey, whether I was with the Steelers or with the Jaguars, I said this is one of 32 teams. If you got good film, you got an opportunity to find a place somewhere else. I mean, so I don't get discouraged. If you truly love this game and you desire to play, then you'll learn from this experience, and you'll be better at whatever team you go to next. And so, it is unfortunate, but it's the business of the NFL. It's the business of the NFL, and I did experience a cut, Hacker. Dave Wanstead with the Dolphins called me at 8 a.m. to come to his office and told me to bring his playbook.
Oh, at the very end of your career,
yeah,
that's right.
Very end of my career, he called me in, and it wasn't to get coffee. He said, call me 8 a.m. They told me to bring my playbook. So yeah, I did experience that at the tail end of my career with the Miami Dolphins.
It's a tough situation, no doubt about that. He never experienced it here in Jacksonville, folks. That's why he was one of the best to ever wear the Jaguar uniform. My pal Leon Searcy, you hear him every day on XL Primetime. Leon, as we begin to wrap up, it's a deep roster, man. I mean, clearly Balky, this is his 4th training camp as GM. Trevor and Doug Peterson, this is their 3rd training camp together. I look at this roster, and this is a lot deeper than what we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years. When I do my 53-man roster, I did it a little earlier, you get 1 to like 45, it's pretty easy. Man, spots 46 to 53 are tough. The O-line, the D-line, the secondary, wide receiver, there are going to be some tough cuts, some tough decisions that have to be made in the coming days.
Well, I mean, Haggard, to be quiet, that's how great teams are made. You've got to have competition. It's got to be difficult to let guys go. I mean, in years in the past, we couldn't really assess or determine how good this team was because we said Jag on Jag doesn't mean anything because the roster was so depleted that we couldn't tell if guys were good or guys got better. But those days are gone. I mean, this roster, this group of players compete and they make it hard on each other, and that's the only way you get better, Hack. I mean, listen, when you come to training camp, it should not be a pleasure cruise. This should not be a beach resort. You should every day have to compete for your position because that's the only way you get better. That's the only way this team evolves and becomes, one of the elite teams is when you got the competition and you got the great players on both sides of the ball and they're getting after it. So I hope that's the case. I hope this team shows up and shows out this season because the roster has been great as of late. So let's make sure they're able to transition that onto the field come Sundays.
All right, Leon, you and I will start weekly here on Hacker After Dark, the week of the Miami game, of course, the 5th quarter. You, the head coach Dave Campo, myself, looking forward to that. We may not talk with you on air next week, so while I have you, we are, 9 days away from Miami and Florida at the Swamp. You've never been to the Swamp during a game. I think the plan is for you to head down there next Saturday. What about your beloved alma mater, a guy you know very well in Mario Cristobal, bringing his Hurricanes to play Florida? What are your expectations a week from Saturday?
Well, I mean, Miami's getting a lot of love. They look good on paper. Just like, listen, Mario's he does a hell of a job recruiting, but somewhere, sometime, somehow, someplace, that's got to be able to transition onto the field. So I'm all in on them. I mean, I've got them winning the ACC. I got them in the playoffs, and yes, Hacker, I got them beating you.
You have them coming to the Swamp and getting the victory, huh?
That's right, buddy.
Now, let me ask you this as we say goodbye. Miami's expected to win next Saturday, Leon. You and I have talked about it the entire offseason. In fact, I know a lot of Gator fans that don't expect Florida to win, which is rare because Gator fans will pick Florida to win regardless. If Florida does win next Saturday, how hard will that be for Cristobal to explain to the alumni and the fan base down there?
It'll be inexcusable. I'm not going to say there's going to be a barn fire, but it'll be a firestorm. If that team that's supposed to be loaded on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, comes up short in the Swamp, he may not be on the hot seat, but it'll be simmering.
It's a huge game for Billy Napier and the Gators. It's a huge game for Mario Cristobal and Miami, and it all goes down 9 days from tonight down at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Leon Searcy, you hear him every day on XL Primetime. Soon, Leon, the fifth quarter. Cannot wait for it, my friend. Thank you as always.
You got it, bro.
Imagine driving a late model Corvette, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, Honda, Chevy, Ford, and more, all at a fraction of the original sticker price. Visit Vaughn Motor Group's indoor showroom and browse a great selection of dream cars that are inspected with warranties. Before you make your next auto purchase, check out Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard or at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Dandy subs and sandwiches. Look, we always want you to think about those great options as you're driving around Duval. But the beauty is, even as I'm dropping pounds, Dandy's got great options for me as well. Told you all about their protein packs, delicious salads that they have out there. They have fruit cups for on the go. You know what they have. Veggie snack trays. You can grab those on the go as well. Perfect, healthy snack. Dandy is the name to know when you're on the go. So stop into a Gate store anywhere around Duval and make yours a dandy, and do it today.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, poker players! The Card Player Poker Tour is happening now at Best Bet Jacksonville through August 26th. From event number one's $400 buy-in with a $100,000 guarantee to the $1,700 no-limit hold'em mystery bounty main event with a $300,000 guaranteed prize pool, the tournament is packed with excitement and winnings. Head to bestbetjacks.com for the full schedule and satellite information. That's bestbetjacks.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 22nd, 1959, Cincinnati Reds future Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder Frank Robinson hits 3 consecutive home runs and 11-4 win over the St. Louis Cardinals.
Roof damage? Call before you claim. Green Law Group, fighting insurance companies for you. They will work for you when you have roof damage. Don't let your insurance deny you. Don't call an adjuster. Call Green Law Group at 904-302-7055. Remember, if you have roof damage, call Green Law Group before you claim. They've settled millions and will work hard to get your claim and new roof. Green Law Group. Call before you claim. 904-302-7055.
Here come Rock and Roll Hall of Famers. Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. The Last Encores. Saturday, February 1st at Florida Theater. Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. Tickets on sale now at floridatheater.com. Don't miss Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons live.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
This is Niall Lawrence Stample, former Florida State National Champion and the proud owner of NLS Cleaning. Just like on the gridiron, we tackle dirt and grime with unmatched precision. Whether it's your commercial property or your residential space, we are ready to take care of your exterior cleaning needs. NLScleaning.net.
Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect pair for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool? Today's
Challenger, an asphalt marketer from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Sheldon Fish. Today's category, air conditioner repair experts in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, I bet it's going to be Bueller.
Your question. Unlike Jacksonville, the Sahara Desert has a complete lack of air conditioner repair experts. What kind of camels do they ride?
That's not really a question about air conditioner repair.
5 seconds.
But that's a camel question.
Pick a camel, Sheldon.
The Arabian dromedary.
That's right, Sheldon. Like the majestic Arabian dromedary, the skilled technicians at Bueller Air and Plumbing can repair any make and model of air conditioner the same day you call, making sure you are cool.
They don't spit, do they?
No, but Steve, the new guy, has a bit of a hump.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Looking for a new or used firearm? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach will get you locked and loaded. New firearms coming in weekly and always looking for used guns. No lines and no waiting. Online at beachesjewelryandpawn.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville as the high school spotlight rolls on. Opening week all over Northeast Florida, and one of the biggest games of the night will be bowls and rains. What else do you really need to say to kick off the 2024 high school football season? The head coach of the Bowls Bulldogs is Matt Toblin, and he's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, how we doing?
Excellent, man. Excellent. It's fall practices, week 1 of the season. It's 95 degrees outside, like nothing to complain about.
No, it's a great time of year, no question about it. Obviously, a lot of expectations on you guys, as there always is, and a great game to kick it off against Reigns. You're going to know pretty quick, Coach, how your team is when you're playing a team like the Reigns Vikings on opening night.
Yes, sir, and that's 100% why you schedule, those kinds of games. That we want to play as good opponents as we can find early in the season, every single chance we get. And like right now, there's no one better than Reigns. And so a well-coached team, immensely talented team is going to be fast and physical, and it's a good test for us. And you're right, we're going to learn a lot about ourselves during this game, win or lose.
And since Bowles has always done this, but really since you arrived, certainly in recent memory, this is what you guys do, whether it's St. Augustine or Creekside. You schedule big-time public school football programs to kind of test yourself, and these games really help you set a barometer for where you need to get to as the season goes on.
Yes, sir. And that's the Coach Rogers legacy. Like, there's one thing that matters here, and it's what happens in late November and December, and ultimately, the best way for us to get there is to test ourselves early. Growth occurs under stress, and that putting ourselves in stressful situations and putting ourselves in situations where we need to adapt is healthy for our team. And so even last year's team that started the season with a bunch of losses, like the growth that occurred because of those losses, helped us make sure we were in the Final Four and competitive against a Miami New Orleans team who was super talented.
Matt Toblin, the head coach of the Bowls Bulldogs, here with us on 1010XL, Bowls and Reigns, to kick off the 2024 high school football season this Friday night. Coach, sometimes you at Bowls have a great running game. Sometimes you rely on the passing game with great weapons on the outside. How would you assess your offense coming into the 2024 season?
Well, and I think the goal of any offense would be to try to be balanced. And balance doesn't always mean 50-50 run pass. It means the ability to threaten all parts of the field. And I think, this year, obviously, with Ethan at quarterback, an experienced guy who's been in our system for 4 years, and the type of weapons we have on the perimeter, that we feel very comfortable throwing the ball if we need to, but also, a lot of returning offensive linemen. We have multiple running backs back, and that we feel very comfortable playing any kind of style that we need to play. And I think that's ultimately where you want to be. We can win it by running the ball, and we can win it by throwing the ball. And that ultimately we're going to do what the game plan requires, but also what the defense gives us, and being able to be in that scenario where we take what they give us. I think is where anybody would want to be.
You've had some tough physical defenses the last couple of years. You got quite a few guys that are playing Division I college football. now. And the good thing about bowls is you're used to having to replace good talent. You have to do that again. How do you feel your defense has performed this spring and fall drills, and are you ready to replace the talent that you lost from last year?
So, I mean, I think you're right. No one's going to replace Garrison Butler and Trent Carter. Like those two guys, one's at Cincinnati, one's at Louisville now. And it's no one's job to be them. It's everyone's job around them to step up and relieve pressure on those guys that are now filling those roles. And so last year, those two kind of really were a huge part of what we did, and this year might be a little bit more balanced around. Like there's the contributions from the linebacker group might be a little bit more spread out, a little bit more balanced, and then obviously, more pressure on the secondary this year without Garrison up there up front, creating so much pressure. And so there's a real good chance for us to be very, very, very good on defense, but it'll be more of a balanced. It'll take all 11 rather than Trent and Garrison be a lot of plays for us.
Final moments, Matt Toblin, the head coach of Bowls. Coach, I told Donovan Maslin this at High School Media Day. I'll tell you as well. I commend you for playing Reigns. I commend Reigns for playing you. This is a game that neither one of you necessarily needs to play, but it's a game that is great for the high school community, particularly to kick off the year. I mean, that's going to be a heck of a lot of fun on Friday night.
Unbelievable fun. And I'll be honest with you, this is not about my ego, and it's not about Coach Maslin's ego. It's about getting our kids the opportunity to play in big games. Like, you do all this work in the off season and all the lifting and all of that stuff to get to run out in this kind of atmosphere, and that to rob our kids of that because I'm trying to, get a certain win-loss record or worried about this and avoiding adversity, that's stealing from our kids. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be one of the best atmospheres in North Florida, and that's why we do it. We want our kids to feel that big-time atmosphere because we're going to be in big-time games in December and in late November, and we don't want it to be the first time they're doing it. So we cannot wait for the atmosphere. We cannot wait for the excitement. We cannot wait for Reigns to come here. That it's going to be awesome for both programs regardless what happens.
Coach, invite them out. San Jose Boulevard, Friday night. What can they expect?
It's going to be live. It's going to be, it always is a big time atmosphere. Normally it's one that brews as you go throughout in the playoffs, we run into each other and it has 1 week to build. This has been building, all summer. And so the number of people on both sides that are going to be there cheering for it, the atmosphere is going to be amazing, but also the level of ball. Like, they have a lot of guys that you're going to get to see on Saturday nights on TV, and so do we. And so the level of ball, the level of competition out there, like, there is no better place to be on Friday night.
Matt Toblin, the head coach of Bowls, Reigns at Bowls Friday night to kick off the high school football season. Coach, best of luck. We'll talk to you down the road, my friend.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Always enjoy catching up with Matt Toblin of Bowls, and it is opening night tomorrow night all over Northeast Florida in the FHSAA. Now, because the Jaguars play tomorrow night, we will not do Friday Night Lights tomorrow night. The first Friday Night Lights postgame show in what will be year 18 for us of doing Friday Night Lights, which is just amazing to me. The radio station started in April of 2007. We did our very first Friday Night Lights postgame August of 2007. So this will be our 18th season. We will kick it off 1 week from tomorrow night. We'll have victorious head coaches, you name it. If you've listened to it over the last 17 years, you know what to expect. So no Friday Night Lights tomorrow night because of Jaguars-Falcons, but we will kick it off next Friday, August the 30th. Denmark, you're immersed in this world, being on the coaching staff of Baldwin. You guys travel to Inglewood tomorrow night. There's always something special about regular season week number 1, opening night, and tomorrow night, whether it's Bowls Reigns, whether it's Creekside Mandarin, whether it's Baker County, Bradford County. You got rivalries, I think, Pontevedra Nice is tomorrow night. I think Clay and Fleming, St. Augustine, Palatka. Boy, it's going to be awesome all over Northeast Florida tomorrow evening.
Yeah, Bowls Reigns is definitely the number one game in the city, in the area. You're probably going to have about close to a dozen guys that you're going to be seeing playing college football on Saturday. And I mean, not that long ago where you saw those two teams play in the regular season for a district game, and then it was kind of known that, hey, we'll see you a couple weeks down the road, and we'll be playing at Thanksgiving for the regional final. Those were some great matchups, and Bowles and Reigns is still the same.
Well, you always have really good talent in the area. Solomon Thomas of Reigns is committed to Florida State. He's a 4-star offensive lineman. Mandarin is just loaded. Their quarterback, Tramel Jones, is an FSU commit. Drake Stubbs, the Mandarin safety, is committed to Miami. Jamie French, the Mandarin wide receiver, is a 5-star. He is literally one of the best players in the nation. He's choosing next Friday between Tennessee, LSU, Miami, and Texas. So the talent here is great this season, and the road to a state championship for all area teams officially begins tomorrow night, week 1 of the FHSAA regular season. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 8 o'clock tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Before dark, we're in for Baloo. We're glad you're with us. More Jaguar talk, and we'll shift gears to some college talk as well. Florida State, you are on the field in 41 hours to kick off the college football season. We'll talk to Logan Robinson of Knoll Game Day, preview Florida State, Georgia Tech, all coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. Glad you're with us right here on Hacker After Dark.
Sometimes sports radio can be a wild ride. Buckle up your chin strap. This is 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Looking for a new vehicle? Take a look at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. Now's the time to save big this summer. Choose from more than 250 new and over 1,000 used and certified pre-owned vehicles on the lot, or shop anytime at JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com. Hyundai has one of the top warranties in the business. Lifetime powertrain and a 5-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, plus 3 years free maintenance on a new vehicle. Give us the opportunity to earn your business today. Atlantic Boulevard, Jacksonville, or visit JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com. Welcome to the family.
Baloo for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
Tropical Smoothie Cafe here with your daily reminder to get on Tropic Time. Take 10. Sip a refreshing smoothie and manifest at your cabana side. Slade hot yoga, treat yourself. Crushed back-to-back meetings, get that me time. Adulted a little extra today, you deserve a vacay. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. And right now, enjoy our new Bahama Mama Bowl, inspired by our fan fave smoothie flavor. Or try our new peanut butter protein crunch bowl with 32 grams of protein.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Right now, they're on their way to ruin your day. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. And if you're not prepared, you will suffer. Yes, it's that time of the year. Heat and humidity are attacking North Florida. But help is at hand. Call Mike Merritt's Heating and Air Conditioning. Mike Merritt has a license to chill and lets you maintain your comfort zone at a bargain price. How? Mike Merritt stands ready to help, routine or emergencies. And Mike Merritt knows emergencies can happen at any time. So with Mike, there's never any overtime charges. And Mike's team works without commissions. Merritt will never try to sell you parts you don't need. You can't trust just anyone with a truck. Call Mike Merritt, the company North Florida has trusted for 35 years. Call today. License number CAC 050384.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Divorce, menonly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to divorcemenonly.com. Divorcemenonly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists returns with their free bumps and bruises evaluation clinics. Now with 4 locations, these free injury assessments are open to all schools and athletic programs. Saturday mornings from 9 to 10 through October 26th at Cortex Sports Performance in Ponte Vedra, Preferred PT in Fleming Island, and also at Brooks Rehab on Centurion Parkway and Brooks Rehab at World Golf Village.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Calling all fans of Duval to downtown Las Vegas during the game against the Silver and Black. This is Lauren Brooks from Helmets and Heels. Join us at Circa Resort and Casino this December for the Jacksonville Game Day Getaway featuring an incredible all-in package. Get a 3-night stay at Circa, $200 food and beverage credit, plus a day bed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive screen, it's the world's largest hot tub party. The all-in package is only available until August 30th, so act now. To book and to join the Heels in Vegas, visit circalasvegas.com today.
Come to Monahan Jewelers store-wide 50 to 60% off sale going on now for a very limited time. Everything on display is 50 to 60% off at Monahan Jewelers. We've bought so much brand new jewelry, we need to make room for it. Diamond jewelry, engagement semi-mounts, colored gemstones, even gold chains. Right now, everything on display at Monahan Jewelers is 50 to 60% off. Jewelry's going quick, so come to Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. College football kicks off on Saturday. Dublin, Ireland is the location. Florida State and Georgia Tech in what is probably the most anticipated, the longest, and maybe the most intriguing college football season any of us have ever seen. The 12-team playoff, all the realignment, and it officially kicks off this Saturday. Let's talk about the Seminoles and the Yellow Jackets with my buddy Logan Robinson. He is the founder and the owner of Nole Game Day, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Logan, I trust your off-season went well, man. How are you?
It's going good. It's going good. I'm looking forward now to football. I'm down here in Tampa, so have had training camp going on with the Buccaneers and have kept up to date with everything going on in fall camp for Florida State. A lot of questions that need to be answered in this week 0, this upcoming Saturday. So it just feels good to smell that football grass back in August.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I actually might throw in a Buccaneer question to you at the end. The Bucs obviously were just up here last week for those joint practices with the Jaguars. But while we're on the Florida State topic, let's begin there. And look, week 0, Dublin, Ireland. It's an interesting scenario because this is not the Citadel, right? This is not Ball State, with all due respect to those schools. This is a Georgia Tech team that won a bowl game last year. This is a Georgia Tech team, albeit Cristobal screwed up at the end, but went into Miami and won a game in Coral Gables last year on a Saturday night. This is a game, Logan, that Florida State might need to be a little careful for here to start the season.
I think I agree with you there. I was previewing this earlier this week on our show. I think Florida State added on with all the pieces that you lost last year, along with the leadership. You had a lot of guys that brought accountability to this team and was able to bring them to Charlotte this last season. And that's still the goal this upcoming season. But you've got a new quarterback there with DJ, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But there's so many new pieces that have come in and some guys that are just going to be one-year transfers, which Mike Norvell has been successful with. But this is a team with Georgia Tech who found some strides this last season. They've got a running game. They've got a quarterback that they think very highly on, that they think there's going to take the next step for them. And Florida State's got to come ready to play. And you're right, this isn't a smaller team that they're facing in this week 0. You've got to be ready for anything. And that's kind of hard to do whenever a team doesn't have any film to work off of you with. And that could also go in the favor of Florida State because they are bringing a different type of quarterback. This isn't Jordan Travis. So, you know, if you look at Alex Atkins, offensive coordinator, he will not be there. But, you know, this is still Mike Norvell's offense. And I expect for this to be a pretty different kind of offensive side of the ball than we've seen the last couple of seasons under Mike Norvell's tenure.
Jordan Travis era is over. Like you said, the DJU era begins from Clemson via Oregon State and now to Tallahassee. Logan, how's DJU look so far, and what's your expectations for him beginning on Saturday?
You know, he had a pretty slow start in spring, which is sort of expected. Just took a little bit of time of getting the offense down, along with building chemistry with his wide receivers. And it didn't start picking up till the last 2 weeks of spring ball, and you saw some signs here and there in the spring game. But then also when you started fall camp again, it was a even slower start than maybe what we saw in the spring. And I'll be honest with you, I had some concerns there. I didn't feel like DJ was making the strides with certain things of understanding the pocket presence and getting the ball out quicker and finding his reads with his wide receivers, tight ends, and this passing attack that is going to be in the backfield this upcoming season for Florida State. But then the last 2 weeks or so, things have been clicking very well for this offense. And it seems like DJ has found a rhythm right in the perfect timing as you're heading into this week 0 game against Georgia Tech. And I think for him, you know, Florida State's not expecting a whole ton from him, but he needs to be a veteran guy that brings that presence to this team. That's something that Florida State had the last few years with Jordan Travis. If he can bring that, able to maybe get these intermediate routes down, then utilize his arm and take those shots downfield. That's what you want from him. But he's not going to be that elusive guy that's going to be able to break off 3 defenders whenever the offensive line breaks down. And I think this season comes down to DJ's play with Florida State's offensive line. They've got to find some chemistry and consistency there after I thought it wasn't so well of a unit under Atkins in 2023.
Logan Robinson, the founder and the owner of Knoll Game Day. He's with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. You mentioned the skill positions around DJ. Look, you replace Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, Jaheim Bell, Trey Benson. I mean, that's going to be difficult, right? How has the skill positions looked? We'll begin with the running game. From what I've been told, Logan, a very deep running back room, maybe a little more concern at wide receiver right now than there is at running back.
You know, I think Coach Yak, which is Florida State's running backs coach, David Johnson, this room just continues to get better and better and better. And like you were just saying there with Trey Benson, who's now with the Arizona Cardinals, it's such a deep room and so many different kind of talents that you could bring to the table game by game this upcoming fall. You know, we start off too with Lawrence Toafili, who I think is one of the top playmakers on the team, if not your top playmaker coming into this upcoming season after what he's been able to show us the last few seasons. Then you match it up with Rodell Williams coming in from Alabama, the transfer there that still is a really good pass catcher as well, maybe more of your all-around kind of back, if you think about running backs. And then you've got some youngsters, too, that have shown some signs. You brought in some speed with Jalen Lucas from Indiana, who's going to be a big-time playmaker, and the special teams and your return game, punt return, all that kind of stuff like that. You got some youngsters, like I was just saying. You got Cam Davis, who someone needs to check the birth certificate. That kid doesn't look like he's as young as it says he is. This is a monster former 5-star running back that, you know, this staff is salivating at, just trying to get him onto the field this upcoming season, just to get some glimpses of what the future is going to look like in that room. So running back room is strong. And then, like you said, the biggest question marks is probably in that wide receiver room after you lost those 2 superstars on the outside. You've got to replace those. Where do you go? And I've been very, very happy to see and kind of surprised of the jump that Malik Benson has made. A former JUCO, went to Alabama, then transferred over to Florida State, and has just absolutely taken over the wide receiver room. It's not just like he looked good and he's kind of impressed and he's going to be jumping in the rotation. He is going to be a starter in week 0, and he is absolutely he's taken it over. And like it's something that I haven't seen in a while, to be able to jump in that quickly, because you kind of expected something like that from Keon Coleman, but for Malik Benson, that wasn't expected, and he really took a grip of that room and took over. And you're looking at another guy that just got named a starter with Jalen Brown, LSU transfer wide receiver. Florida State did a lot of recruiting on him. Was very close in that recruitment, got close to actually getting him, but ends up going over there. It's Brian Kelly and LSU. Now he gets him back over here, and it seems like he's had a really, really strong fall camp. And you've got some veterans there with Ja'Kai Douglas. And, you want to see some strides be made from Hakeem Williams. I think that will happen here eventually once fully healthy. And, this room has got to show that it can match well with DJ's arm. That's going to be the biggest factor. And this team is full of speed. That's what Mike Norvell said. This team is predicated on speed in 2024, something a little bit different than what we've seen the last couple of years under Mike Norvell. So it's going to be a whole new offense, and it all starts in that running back room and the wide receiver room.
Couple of more for Logan Robinson, the founder and the owner of Knoll Game Day. Defensively, Logan, same story, right? A lot of talent departed. Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Fabian Lovett, a guy we have here in Jacksonville now, and Jarian Jones, Renardo Green, just to name a few. But a lot of talent returns, a lot of influx of talent from the transfer portal, including a legacy player in Marvin Jones Jr. How would you assess the defense for Florida State heading into the year?
It's plain and simple here. I think this side of the ball is going to have to carry Florida State. And I'm not saying that it's going to be the only thing that's keeping this team alive. I think the offense is going to show some good signs and get down the field. But this defense is, on paper and what we've heard and seen and watched in fall camp, this defense looks like it could be another strong unit under Adam Fuller. And I look at Marvin Jones Jr., who I named to be Florida State's top defensive player this upcoming season. That's not easy to do because there's so many good players that you could put up there with Darrell Jackson, Joshua Farmer, Azareye'h Thomas, who has had a huge fall camp as well. Fentrell Cypress on the other side of the cornerback position. There's plenty of names of them too. Of course, Patrick Payton on the other side of Marvin Jones Jr. But I think Marvin Jones fits this defense just so well, and that wasn't the case over there under Kirby Smart in Georgia. And I think he's going to get back there. That speed, that explosiveness, it's been a really rough task for tackles during fall camp for Florida State. They've had some fits with him. He's been annoying, and he just looks like he's in great shape for an upcoming season. And I, too, going back to AZ at the quarterback position. And also, too, I got to give my props to Fentrell Cypress. I think those two guys have probably had the most consistent and strongest defensive side of the ball for fall camp. If we're looking at players at their position, I think those two guys are expected to have a big season for Florida State. I think there's some question marks, though, behind the depth of the defensive line in the trenches. Ryan, I think behind Joshua Farmer and Darrell Jackson, there's got to be some guys that step up there. That's something that I have a concern on going into the season. And two, the linebacker room. If DJ Lundy, you got Cam Riley, the Auburn transfer linebacker. Those guys got to stay healthy as well because there is some inexperience there with who's behind him. So there's question marks, but I think what we've heard through fall camp, I've seen a lot of strides made from the depth of defensive tackles and linebackers that make me feel good, but I don't feel good until we get answers made on week 0. So looking forward to seeing it.
Florida State, Georgia Tech to kick off the college football season this Saturday over in Dublin, Ireland. Logan, as we begin to wrap up, is it as simple in the ACC this year as Florida State, Miami, Clemson, and then everybody else? Are those the three that are going to be competing to win this thing?
To me, that's what I'm predicting. The ACC sometimes likes to shock us, and you see a few teams here and there that might like to make some jumps. I'm looking at maybe a team like Boston College, who I think maybe some are sleeping on a little bit. They've got some studs there on offense. They always bring the physicality. They got their new head coach, I think that's a team that I'm watching out for. Treshawn Ward, former FSU running back, is over there with him. Castellanos, too, showed some really strong signs in the quarterback room. So, but I still think those are your top teams. And to me, I think Florida State's one of the hardest games for them is going to be Clemson at home. No matter what, Dabo Swinney and Mike Norvell, I think these are going to be close games, just like rivalry games moving forward as they continue to face one another. But I agree. Those are your top ACC teams. And, who knows? Maybe the Eagles can, kind of jump in there and make things interesting.
Logan, tell the Florida State fans here in the Northeast Florida area about Nole Game Day and what they can expect when they head on over to the website.
Well, we've got tons of stuff going on there, probably about 7-8 articles going up on NoleGameDay.com on a daily basis. We have fall camp now wrapped up, and now we have game week observations from practices, giving you kind of a sneak peek at what's going on and play-by-play sort of things like that. So tune in to NoleGameDay.com, and we're also live on Wednesdays on YouTube on Nole Game Day called Hear the Spear as we preview every game, and then we'll do instant reactions as well right after the games on Saturday. So looking forward to a really fun season ahead, and it should be explosive and fast, and I think that makes it for a very entertaining season ahead.
We invite all Florida State fans to check out Nole Game Day. Logan Robinson. Logan, while we have you here, final thought, Tampa Bay, who you also cover down in that part of the state, they were up here for a couple of joint practices last week. They had the preseason game here against Jacksonville. What's the thought on the Buccaneers? Obviously, Baker Mayfield, a new contract. Mike Evans, a new contract. What's the thought on Tampa heading into the year?
I think it relies on the success of the running game. I think fans will be happy if you see Liam Cohen, Tampa Bay's new offensive coordinator, coming over from the Rams, previously worked with Baker Mayfield over there in Los Angeles. If that running game can get going, then this offense should be able to click. And I've liked what I've seen in training camp from the motion that they're doing. It's caused Todd Bowles to give it gave him a little bit more difficulty than I've seen the last couple of years in training camp, just because of how you're moving around Mike Evans, where you're putting a guy like Jalen McMillan, the Washington rookie wide receiver. There's so much motion going on. I think this benefits too a lot with Chris Godwin after they got to try to find a way to get him clicking after, a pretty subpar kind of season for him, not expected to be that way from a veteran like him. The running game, though, has got to get its footing, and I've liked what we've seen so far from Bucky Irving. I think he's shown you that he can bring physicality along with his speed. He's already not an easy running back to tackle, but pairing that with Rachaad White and maybe a guy like Sean Tucker, who has shown some really strong signs in preseason. So offensively, that's strong. And then, what you got sort of with the defense, you kind of sort of had a scare there with Yaya Diaby. I think has a chance to be an excellent star in his career in Tampa and sticking there. Luckily, he's back healthy. And, you look at what you have already coming back defensively in the linebacker room with KJ Britt, Levante David. There's a lot to like with this team. And I think the expectations are high, and there's a bar set for that this upcoming season. And it should be, all the pieces that you brought back with Jason Light. It's time to win games in the playoffs and win a lot of them.
You can follow Logan Robinson for Florida State coverage at Nole Game Day. Likewise, for Tampa Bay Buccaneer coverage, very similar. Bucs Game Day is where you can find Logan Robinson's work. Logan, I know you're busy this time of year. Thank you as always, my friend. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Ryan, as always, for having me on. I appreciate it.
Some people call it X.
What?
Some still call it Twitter.
Okay, I got it.
Whatever you call it, it's the best place for up-to-the-minute Jags coverage from 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of certified vehicles to choose from, starting as low as $89.99. Plus, they come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile peace of mind warranty and free oil changes. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected. Plus, every purchase allows us to fund teachers' projects for the entire school year. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. Deadline August 31st. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. Changed my life. It has. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I'm down 90 plus pounds in 6 months. 90 pounds in 6 months. I put this on social media this past weekend. On February 20th, I weighed 317 pounds. Yikes. On August 20th, I'm now weighing 225 pounds. Absolutely life-changing, and it's all thanks to the great folks and the great program at Awaken 180 Weight Loss. If you need to drop some weight, whether it's 20 or 30 pounds, or if you need to drop a lot of weight like I had to, Awaken 180 is your answer. Again, the best weight loss program I've ever been on. Check them out, awaken180weightloss.com. They are changing lives. I'm one of them. You could be the next. Trust me. Give them a call. Check them out. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
This is the sound of turning small bets into legendary wins. Only on the Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app. The sound of parlays. The sound of paydays. The sound of watching the game will never be the same. Hard Rock Bet has already paid out millions and millions in parlays to people across Florida. Download Hard Rock Bet now, and if your first bet doesn't win, get up to $100 back as a bonus bet. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to play. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Integrity, persistence, and standing up for victims. It's what you want in a personal injury case, and what my friend and lawyer Glenn Cohen brings to every case for over 40 years. Call Glenn at Barnes, Cohen, and Sullivan.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees, and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 22nd, 1959, Cincinnati Reds future Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder Frank Robinson hits 3 consecutive home runs and 11-4 win over the St. Louis Cardinals.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
Raid wants to know, what would you do if you could confidently face every day knowing you and your loved ones are protected? Would you sing along to your favorite song at the top of your lungs? Turn off the GPS and let your heart do the guiding. Go to the drive-thru and order one of everything. Feel the buzz of confidence of knowing you are protected with 65 years of insect science in your hands. Raid. Protection for everyone.
What is North America's largest freshwater fish? The answer coming up.
How long has it been since you compared homeowners' insurance rates? Log on to southernoak.com to find an agent or get an instant quote online. Find us at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
North America's largest freshwater fish is the sturgeon, which this time of year you'll find swimming around in the Great Lakes.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
911, what's your emergency?
Help, we don't have air conditioning.
Ma'am, 911 is for emergencies only.
Well, my husband's trying to stuff himself in the refrigerator.
I see. Well, maybe you should call Duck Duck Air Conditioning.
To get him out of the fridge?
To get a new AC system.
Beat the Florida heat with Duck Duck Air Conditioning. Jacksonville area's AC experts. For service, repairs to new installations, trust the Duck. DuckDuckAC.com.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about letting things roll off of your back. So often we can make big deals out of things that are not really big deals. We can allow them to steal the joy of our day. But let me remind you that don't allow anyone or anything to steal the joy of today. Go out today not letting little things steal the big things that God has in store for you.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Hey,
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Hey, it's Mike Dempsey, and you know how I feel about Pella Windows and Doors. Great design, strongest warranties, and the highest quality product. I even chose Pella Windows for my own home. And whether you're a homeowner replacing windows or building a new home or a trade professional working with clients, I know the design experts at Pella will help your project run smoothly and look great. Visit PellaJacks.com or the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway at Pella Windows and Doors.
Jaguars football is officially back. Be there for the Jaguars 2024 home opener when they go head-to-head with the Cleveland Browns. Join us as we celebrate Hispanic heritage and take the field at Everbank Stadium for the first time during our 30th season. Lock in your seats now for the 1 p.m. kick by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you back at the bank.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. We'll take you up till 8 o'clock tonight. In for Blue, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Back into the Jacksonville Jaguars. Travis Holmes, Big Cat Country, set to join us here in less than 10 minutes. So the preseason finale for the Jaguars, Friday night in Atlanta. It's an interesting situation. The Jaguars have announced that they're going to play their starters a good bit, right? A quarter and a half, maybe 2 full quarters. Whereas Atlanta is not going to play any first-teamers, at least that's what we've been told. Very few second-teamers, and it's going to be primarily third- and fourth-string guys. Guys that are clearly on the roster bubble or guys that, quite frankly, will be getting cut Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So that puts the Jaguars in kind of a weird spot on Friday night. Because if you go out there and you perform well, offense scores a touchdown or two, defense gets 2 or 3 3-and-outs. Well, that's expected, right? Because it's your starters, your main guys, going up against third and fourth team opposition. But on the opposite of that, if Trevor Lawrence in the offense has a couple of 3-and-outs or the defense allows a touchdown or two to the Falcon backups, well, then that's a big story. Because then the Falcons' third and fourth team guys beat you. I don't like the situation that the Jaguars are going to be put in. I don't really think there's a good outcome. Even if you perform well, it's because you're expected to. But if you don't perform well, it's a gigantic story. Bottom line, get some work with those 5 starters up front on the O-line on Friday night and get out of there healthy. At all costs, get out of there healthy, and then all eyes, and I do mean all eyes, can then turn to Sunday, September 8th in the regular season opener in Miami, Florida against the Miami Dolphins. Travis Holmes, Big Cat Country, talking Jaguars, talking roster cuts, reviewing training camp. That's next on a Thursday evening here in the city of Jacksonville, Florida. It's Hacker After Dark right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
They say every town has a story. Here in Duval, the story's being written every day. Duval! 1010XL. Duval! This is Duval Sports Radio.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
At Garber Auto Mall, we can wiggle it. Best price, we can wiggle it. Best trade value, we can wiggle it. Best payment, we can wiggle it. Ford, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, with 8 American brands, we can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or online at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle.
Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Rick Ballou for
Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
The hottest trend in casual dining has expanded in Jacksonville with its 5th location off 103rd. The Flame Broiler serves up protein-packed rice bowls. It's fast, healthy, and affordable. Order online at flamebroilerusa.com or visit any of our 5 locations. Flame Broiler, simply healthy.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
It's kind of like his own private locker, and you're his guest.
Every time we talk, I'm reinvigorated by my love of the game.
Hayes Carline here. Find my blog at 1010XL.com.
Hayes Blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
Right now, they're on their way to ruin your day. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. And if you're not prepared, you will suffer. Yes, it's that time of the year. Heat and humidity are attacking North Florida. But help is at hand. Call Mike Merritt's Heating and Air Conditioning. Mike Merritt has a license to chill and lets you maintain your comfort zone at a bargain price. How? Mike Merritt stands ready to help, routine or emergencies. And Mike Merritt knows emergencies can happen at any time. So with Mike, there's never any overtime charges. And Mike's team works without commissions. Merritt will never try to sell you parts you don't need. You can't trust just anyone with a truck. Call Mike Merritt, the company North Florida has trusted for 35 years. Call today. License number CAC 050384.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. Are you tired of wrestling with your old shower curtain? Then say goodbye to the curtain chaos and hello to a new frameless shower enclosure. Wago Glass is clear, classy, and won't stick to you like a toddler at bedtime. Plus, it makes your bathroom look bigger and brighter. Upgrade your shower experience and step into style. Call me at Baker Glass and get ready to love your new glass shower enclosure. Baker Glass, no one treats you better.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Homeowners, good news for you. Accent on 4. Listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Prosser here. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted. So low, we haven't seen them in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.99% APR. So whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in process with another lender, stop now. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days, with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Call 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Owner approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
After you use Bounce Dryer sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll put a sheet on your Every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you. Okay, Bounce Dryer Sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry...
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. 2 preseason games in the books for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have their preseason finale on Friday night up in Atlanta, and then this roster that currently sits at 90 has to be cut down to 53 by Tuesday the 27th. And then you get ready for Miami, which that game now is 2.5 weeks away. The NFL regular season is right around the corner. Let's talk about all of it with my buddy Travis Holmes. He does a great job covering the Jaguars for our friends over at Big Cat Country, and he's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Travis, how you doing, man?
Hey man, I'm living a dream. We are wrapping up training camp and almost ready for some real football. I'm ready.
Yeah, there's no question about that. It's the same thing every year, right? We always get really excited about the preseason, really excited about training camp, and now after a couple of weeks of it, you're kind of jonesing for the real thing. Travis, we've seen 2 preseason games. You and I haven't spoke on air since training camp has begun. So 3 weeks of camp, the 2 games that we've seen, just a mile-high view, your thoughts on Jaguar training camp 2024. What has stood out to you?
Mile high view is obviously, we got to start with the rookie wide receiver from LSU, BTJ. I mean, the man has now, he's slowly ascended. He's gone from starting some of the hardest things for a rookie to grasp, just getting the red zone under his belt, to finally being able to stretch the field. And now we're kind of seeing exactly why they wanted him here, exactly why they brought him in. And it's kind of awesome. Jags fans are getting excited, and rightfully so. We're just going to hope that all those smaller things like the red zone, like, when it gets down to the crunch time of late playoffs, he's already been able to grow to the guy you want to see, late in the season, like a Christian Watson in Green Bay last year. Also, obviously, we wanted to see what the defense is going to look like under Ryan Nielsen. We've seen them perform admirably overall this preseason. We still have questions on whether or not they're going to be able to stop the run. And, well, that question's still up in the air, even in entering week 3 of the preseason. But overall, I think it's a pretty solid defense. We've seen very tight coverage with the secondary. We've seen the ascension of Tank Bigsby and Parker Washington. May as well just call this preseason the Trent Baalke revenge season at this point. I mean, he said they wanted to be drafted and developed, and they seem to have taken that to heart. I'll give the coaching staff, I'll give the front office credit there. Cam Little's become a weapon overall. I mean, those are the main takeaways as far as those areas are concerned. But the biggest question still, as it was in 2023, is what is that interior defensive line truly going to look like when everyone's healthy in there? And what is that interior O-line going to look like? And are they going to be able to establish the run?
No, it's a good question. And we'll talk about the lines of scrimmage in a moment. I talked about this earlier this week. The 2023 draft class, there were a lot of questions about them at the end of last year. Now, granted, they haven't done anything in the regular season yet, but I'm just going strictly off of training camp. All right, Anton Harrison's a stud. That guy is going to be an absolute stud. He's going to be one of the leaders of this team in a very short amount of time. Bigsby has looked fantastic. Ventrell Miller has looked fantastic. Antonio Johnson's a good player. I really like Parker Washington, Cooper Hodges, Christian Braswell. Brenton Strange, the second-round pick, I mean, he needs to do some stuff in games, but he's looked good in practice, at least against Tampa last week. Travis, I got to tell you, man, I'm trying not to get too over the top, I guess, but there is so much potential for that 2023 draft class based on what we've all seen out there at training camp.
I think I'm in agreement with you. And that's the part that stinks, because you always want to make sure you're checking yourself against any homerism. You want to check yourself against being too isolated to Jacksonville and overvaluing these guys. But I'm in full agreement with you. I mean, again, the eyes don't lie. The tape doesn't lie. And these guys are performing. And that's, again, a testament. That's a tip of the cap to Mr. Trent Baalke. He picked the guys. They didn't show up last year. They said it was a relation to development and the onboarding process. They've changed it up and kept the guys in town for another 2.5 weeks, which changed it up from past years. And it seems to be paying dividends on the field. I got to give him to it.
Travis Holmes, Big Cat Country, here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Travis, you mentioned the wide receiver room. Vastly different than what it was a year ago. Ridley, Jones, Agnew out, Duvernay, Davis, and Thomas in. You alluded to BTJ. Christian Kirk has been battling what is called a mild calf strain. He's been held out as a precaution. But Gabe Davis, I think, has done some nice things, particularly in the joint practices with Tampa. I love what we've seen out of Parker Washington, as I mentioned. Duvernay with a 3rd and 15 catch on Saturday night against Tampa was a great play. And to me, the end of that wide receiver room, will it be Elijah Cooks? Will it be Tim Jones? Will it be a guy in Austin Trammell who all he seems to do is make plays? I mean, there's going to be some interesting decisions at the tail end of that wide receiver room in the next 7 days.
Indeed. And that's been the argument across the media room. I mean, you've been in those conversations. You hear it. Some guys just believe that it's going to be someone like a Tim Jones because that 6th and or 7th wide receiver pretty much never plays on offense. So what they do on offense is kind of a bonus. It's actually primarily whatever they're going to do on special teams. At least Trammell does give you something there. However, it doesn't seem to be that that's something that he gives is in relation to being a gunner or, someone who's tackling guys. He's just more of a returner type. Whereas you have someone like Tim Jones, who's a great blocker, who actually is someone who is a gunner on the team's units, may be someone who's more of a core 4 guy. And that's where this gets interesting. If the team chooses to stay with 7 receivers, then yeah, that's someone like an Austin Trammell and Elijah Cooks conversation. But if they're cutting it at 6, that is going to be really tough, especially with the new kickoff rules. And we've seen the impact that's had for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You certainly know something about the defensive back position as well in your past. And you look at the Jaguar DB room, Travis. All right, Tyson Campbell, yes. Ronald Darby, yes. And Jarian Jones. Those 3 guys are locks at corner. You would expect DeAndre Prince, or at least I would, to be a lock based on what I've seen. So that leaves how many spots? 1, maybe 2. Braswell, Monteric Brown. I mean, do you see any scenario of a Trey Flowers or somebody getting in the mix there? How do you see the corner position working itself out?
Whew, that's a hard one because the team loves Christian Braswell. And, I mean, if you talk to anybody there, they'll all rave about his performance. They'll all rave about the fact that he was doing well even last year before his injury. And you see the situations that they place him in. That's the biggest key to me is the fact that when you're in practice and if there's a Christian Kirk play, more likely than not, Christian Braswell is put on him and they're going to give him those opportunities to be challenged. And a lot of the times he rises to the occasion. And we've seen that in gameplay also. I think he's already locked himself onto the roster, in my personal opinion, unless he just has a dreadfully bad day, which I don't see on Friday. So from my perspective, I think it's Braswell all day right now as that, that 5th guy, as far as the DB room is concerned. And that's when you start getting to those difficult conversations of what the other guys offer, again, on the team's unit. As far as Trey Flowers is concerned, I'm honestly not even sure if he does place teams or not. I hadn't even thought about it until just today. So that's an interesting cut down scenario because, again, I think he's played solid as far as being a DB. But if you're getting to your 5th cornerback for the most part, it's a lot like the Tim Jones conversation. These guys aren't really expected to play throughout the season, and it's really going to come down to special teams play.
Let's get to the offensive line and the defensive line again here with Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country. On the O-line, we haven't seen the starting unit together. We saw Robinson, Morse, and Sheriff week 1 against Kansas City. Then they didn't play week 2, but Cleveland and Harrison did play week 2. So we haven't seen all 5 guys out there. So I know there's a lot of trepidation, dare I say maybe a little panic among the fan base about the offensive line. I would pump the brakes a little bit until we see all 5 projected starters out there together, Travis, which we're expected to see Friday night in Atlanta.
Correct. That was actually something that I posted on my on the socials yesterday night. When looking, someone posted the stats basically about pressures giving up in the preseason and yards before contact in the preseason, and the fact that is the Jaguars starting offensive five. Heck, the starting offensive four haven't even played yet. Just four of the five this preseason. So a lot of the times when you're watching the tape, for instance, when you're watching the Jags-Bucks game, you will see that the errors, the mental errors that's giving up, or a lot of the mistakes that's maybe giving up on a rush here or a pass here, are all the guys who you wouldn't expect to contribute in 2024. So don't evaluate the line as a unit when you're looking at these games. Evaluate the individual performances. And overall, Ezra Cleveland, Anton Harris, the guys you're going to depend on, had great games. That is a good thing to take away. And that's the same thing I would apply to the Kansas City game.
Final moments, Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country. On the defensive line, we know about Josh Allen. We know about Trayvon Walker. You had some thoughts on social media about Trevis Gibson. And I'll tell you this, too. I don't know if he got here too late in the process, but Breeland Speaks, if he goes out there and plays well against Atlanta, he might take a roster spot from somebody. I don't know if there's a fourth better pass rusher on the Jaguars. I think they want it to be DJ Coleman, and I like DJ Coleman, but Breeland Speaks has looked very good. And then, Yasir Abdullah, what happens there? He's another guy in that 2023 draft class. Is he on the roster bubble? I mean, how do you assess kind of the front seven, if you will, but primarily look at the edge pass rush position when it comes to the final 53-man roster?
Well, I mean, to your point, I do believe Travis is going to be that third guy. I think he's pretty much solidified himself there. I had issues with his inability to consistently get pressure against the Bucks. He did have two solid rushes in the game, one where he was held, Travis Gibson, that is. Nevertheless, I just wanted to see a little bit more from him. I wasn't as impressed when, everyone on the socials raving about how great the performance was. I just didn't see that. I saw 1.5, maybe 2 good reps, basically, out of those 22 snaps, or 17 pass rush snaps. Overall, we're talking, DJ Coleman. I think he's flashed on a few different occasions, but he's also had a few more opportunities to flash against higher caliber talent, I would say. Whereas Breeland Speaks, he's gotten here over 2.5 weeks at this point. It feels like he's probably fighting for a practice squad spot at this point. I know Doug Peterson kind of indicated the same the other day, like it's a tall mountain to climb based on a very small time for him to be here. But however, he has absolutely flashed against backup guys, against guys who you're historically not going to expect to be on the roster. And Abdullah has also done a few things. He's done a few nice things on tape. So it's a very difficult decision overall. I'm probably leaning someone like DJ Coleman at least between DJ Coleman and Abdullah, but that's going to be a very difficult conversation.
Travis, as we wrap up, Doug Peterson alluded to this yesterday. The roster when he got here, and when Balky got here, obviously, but certainly when Peterson got here, it was okay, but it wasn't very deep, right? I mean, they made that playoff run, but they didn't have a deep roster. They just had no injuries in 2022. Last year, they had injuries, and you saw what happened at the stretch. They just didn't have the depth on this roster. I got to tell you, man, and again, I'm trying not to be the homer here, as you mentioned, but it's a deep roster. They're going to have some tough decisions to make. There will be guys that get cut here in Jacksonville that fans have seen play regular season games, and there will be guys that are Jaguars today that will be on other teams this time next week, as they will get claimed off of waivers. That's a good problem to have. You got to cut good football players if you want to keep good football players. But I do think it is going to be the toughest round of cuts in the Doug Peterson tenure here because of the overall depth of this roster. Agree or disagree?
I think I will agree, but I also I've fallen into this issue in past years, and I wanted to be clear with you on this. A lot of the time, these guys leave Jacksonville and they don't get picked up on very many rosters. Other than someone like Darius Williams, who we all knew was a really, really, really good cornerback, was a really good football player who just didn't fit the scheme. Outside of a scenario like that, the vast majority of the time, these guys, when they are no longer in Jacksonville, they are at best role players with a bad team. For the most part, historically, that's what it ends up being. So I don't want to say that, hey, we're going to cut some guys and they're going to end up being superstars somewhere else, or they'll be on a roster, absolutely. Someone like Carolina Panthers, they just love Jacksonville Jaguars for some reason. They have past guys from the front office in their office. I get that. But yes, someone like an Elijah Cook, someone like an Austin Trammell, someone like maybe even who knows, a Keelan Robinson. Those will be interesting conversations when it comes down to roster cut times. But I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sold that these guys are necessarily going to just blow up and just be these incredible guys elsewhere, because I think historically we've overvalued these guys with our teal glasses.
You can read Travis Holmes' work. Big Cat Country is where you find him. And Travis, you got a new podcast as well covering the Jaguars, correct?
Yes, sir. The Duval Dive Jaguars podcast with myself with Big Cat Country and Kyle Nash with Jaguars on SI, where we, once or twice a week, we just talk about the big news in Jacksonville. We talk about the highlights from the game. We give you the taste that the national media guys won't talk about, and it's actually based on film watching, not just box score watching. Take a look. Like and subscribe on YouTube.
Hey, Travis, we always appreciate the conversation. We always invite people to check out Big Cat Country as well. Thank you, my friend. We'll do it again soon.
Appreciate it, Ryan.
Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
And thank you to Travis Holmes of BigCatCountry.com for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark as the Jaguars and the Falcons tomorrow evening. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. That was one of the main things we talked about tonight. We are expected to see the Jaguar starters quarter and a half, maybe 2 quarters tomorrow night. Talking up to people up in Atlanta, my buddy John Michael, 680 The Fan, earlier in the week. We are not expected to see the same from Atlanta. 3rd and 4th teamers is what it looks like for the Falcons. So if you're the Jaguars tomorrow night and you don't score on their 3rd and 4th team defense with your starting offense, well, it's a gigantic red flag, correct? I mean, but if you do score, well, you're supposed to score. So it's not really an ideal situation for the Jaguars, but you need to get some work in. That starting 5 on the offensive line needs to build some chemistry heading in to Miami, the season opener on Sunday, September 8th. So we'll see what happens up there in the city of Atlanta. Other things we talked about tonight. College football kicks off on Saturday with Florida State and Georgia Tech. The Seminoles have already made the trip over to Dublin, Ireland, getting ready. We are less than, 40 hours, I guess, less than 40 hours away from college football kicking off here in 2024, and the high school gridiron. We talked to Matt Toblin of Bowles as they get ready for one of the games of the night here in week number 1 in Northeast Florida, as Bowles will host Reigns over there off of San Jose Boulevard as we kick off the 2024 high school football season. Well, that'll just about do it. It has been a very, very busy Thursday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country. Thank you to Logan Robinson of Knoll Game Day for previewing Florida State and Georgia Tech with us. I mentioned Matthew Toblin, the head coach of the Bowles Bulldogs, as they get ready for Reigns tomorrow night. And back in hour number 1, my buddy Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on XL Primetime, former Jacksonville Jaguar Pro Bowl offensive tackle. He'll be with me weekly here on Hacker After Dark when the season begins. And, of course, the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy will be joined by the head coach Dave Campo and yours truly, as we will give you another season of the 5th quarter here on 1010XL, 2 hours after every Jaguar game officially goes final. Now, this is our last show for the week. A couple of house cleaning things. Tomorrow night, obviously, Jaguars and the Falcons will air on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM, so there will be no Hacker After Dark tomorrow. We will return on Monday. We will also debut Friday Night Lights a week from tomorrow. Because the Jaguars play, Friday Night Lights will not air tomorrow, but we will kick off season number 18 of the Friday Night Lights postgame show 1 week from tomorrow, August the 30th. Certainly cannot wait for that, as we will be unbelievably busy next week with Jaguar Cutdown Day, college football season kicking off en masse, Friday Night Lights officially starting up. It will be a crazy week, and we certainly look forward to bringing it all to you here on Hacker After Dark. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the Hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Thursday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. And so for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Thursday evening. Enjoy all the high school football tomorrow night. Enjoy the Jaguars and the Falcons. And, of course, enjoy Florida State, Georgia Tech on Saturday. And we will be back to break it all down Monday night right here on Hacker After Dark beginning